Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think the volume is too loud. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Little bit reduction. Hare Krishna. Hare little increase. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So welcome to the first session of this Gita course. For all those, can you hear me properly? Those who are online, can you hear me properly? Those who are online?
Correct.
Yes, Prabhu, we can.
Okay. So we'll start today's session with the regular Sankirtan, which we do every Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyad Shakti Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi So all those who are So those who are attending online, if you are able to see the screen, can you please confirm in the chat box? Are you able to see the screen? Shri Gandharvika Girdhari Shriman Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Shri Lakshmi Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki, Shri Panchatatva ki, Shri Shri Nitai Goswami ki, Shri Prabhupada. Okay, so very happy to host this regular Gita course session in the new ISKCON Bhakti Center, which is in the Kannamangala region. Is it possible for all of you to come a little closer? There's a lot of gap between the speaker and okay, is there anybody who's joining for the first time today, either physically or online? Anybody joining for the first time? What is your name? Your name I know, Srinivas. Surendra. What is your name? Krishna Nayak. Guru Prasad? Okay, Guru Prasad. Anybody from this side joining for the first time? Shanti. Rukmini. Very nice. Anybody from online joining for the first time? Anybody online joining for the first time? If yes, please raise your hands. Okay. So we have, just to give a background to those who are joining for the first time today. This Gita course started, I think, in the month of September. We are covering the fundamentals of the Bhagavad Gita. We are not going verse by verse, but we are going in a thematic way, where we are trying to present the basics of Bhagavad Gita while covering a theme, one theme at a time. So there are various themes in the Bhagavad Gita. So we take a particular theme, for example, karma. So there are 5 principal subject matters in the Bhagavad Gita: Ishvara, Prakriti, Jiva, Kala, and Karma. So suppose you want to discuss Prakriti. So there is a lot of statements about the laws of nature, about the material energy, Prakriti, material nature in general, all throughout the Bhagavad Gita. So we pick up a particular topic, we go from the first chapter till the 18th chapter, and we understand one subject matter. So this Gita course was primarily designed for an urban audience who come in with a lot of expectations to get solutions to the problems of their life. This Bhagavad Gita course basically aims at giving spiritual solutions to the material problems which people face in life. Okay. And we have covered quite a lot of sessions. Almost 20 sessions are over for those who are joining for the first time. We call it level 1 and level 2. So it's a filtering process also. So in the first level, we discussed quite a lot of detail about Ishvara, Prakriti, Jiva, and Karma. Now this is the level 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. It has a little bit criteria also. Those who are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, at least 1 or 2 rounds a day, they are allowed to join this level 2. So all those who are joining for the first time, we recommend that you please start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so that you will fulfill the criteria also. Just like when you go higher in your study or in your ladder, you require more discipline to maintain yourself. You are in the first standard, first grade. You go to the second grade, you need more discipline to understand what is needed to be understood in the second grade. So similarly, in order to move from level 1 to level 2, there is a condition, there is a criteria that you should be chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Only when you do that, you'll be able to access this discussion which we are doing. The aim of this Gita course is not to make anybody a scholar of the Bhagavad Gita. We want everybody to become a devotee of Krishna. Because that is what is said, Sa evayam mayatedya yoga praktah puratanaha bhakto sima sakhacheti rahasyam yetad uttamam. So the pre-qualification to understand this Bhagavad Gita is that one should be a devotee of Krishna, and one should have a non-envious service attitude towards Krishna. If one does not have these 2 qualifications, what are these 2 qualifications? Can someone repeat? one should be a devotee of Krishna, and non-envious service attitude towards Krishna. Only when we have these two qualifications, bhakto sime sakha cheti, then only we will understand the Gita. Otherwise, rahasyam. Even it will always remain a mystery. Even if we read 500 times, we cannot understand the Gita. And the easiest way to become a devotee of Krishna, and the easiest way to have a non-envious service attitude towards Krishna is to chant the holy names of Krishna. That is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. That is the way in which we can access this. So welcome to the level 2. The pre-qualification is that all those who are joining should be chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And today we are going to discuss about time. So, but even before I start, we want to say that this session is dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, every session which we do, we try to remind ourselves that it is not for any other purpose but other than the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. We don't want money, we don't want fan followers, YouTube subscribers, we don't want the attention from the opposite gender. We only want causeless opportunity to do causeless devotional service in the association of devotees. And this is only possible by doing services for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Personal ambition is the poison in spiritual life. Therefore, I take this opportunity to remind myself and all the students here, physically and online, that whatever we do, it should be for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, should have been derived out of some instruction of Guru and Krishna. So in order to seek the blessings of the entire Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, and all the other teachers who have helped me to understand, practice this process of Krishna consciousness, I would like to offer some prayers. We call it the Mangala Charan. Those who know can repeat with me. Those who don't can try to hear the sound vibration and try to learn it as early as possible. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bante Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om. That's it. Hare Krishna. The agenda for today. First, we'll see, we are discussing time as an energy of the Lord. And first, we'll see what are the general ideas which we have about time. Then we'll see various perspectives. Time. How are we affected by this time factor? How should I use my time? Finally, the test of time. And in each and every session, we have been always giving a practical tip of the day, which helps us to improve the quality of our life. If we start practicing it from that very moment, we will feel a difference. So that's the practical tip of the day. As I said, we are practically discussing how the Bhagavad-Gita can help us in our lives on a daily basis. Spiritual solutions to material problems. It's not just a theory, but we have to practice and see. We give away a practical tip. And if we follow the tip, we get the results. If we don't follow the tip, we don't get the results. And the most important practical tip for all the sessions is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mantra. If we are not in the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord, then no matter how many classes we attend, whether it is 5,000 or 6,000 classes we may attend, it's not going to help us. It's like attending the classes and not studying at home or not doing the homework, simply coming to classes. It's not going to help. Okay. So when I talk about the general thoughts about time, when we say time, what comes to your mind? If I throw a very open-ended question, time, what comes to your mind? Would someone like to? Something that doesn't stop? Yes. Anybody else would like to say something? General conception. Okay, Kameshwari Vadlamani Mataji from online. It's not visible yet. She's saying that time, when she talks about time, she thinks about self-control. Good perspective. Time to control the self. Any other thing which comes to your mind? I'm pretty sure many things must be coming. One, time cannot be brought back. Some people must be thinking, when will this class end? What time? Yes. Discipline. Yes. Time and tide wait for none. But what is your name? Maybe it will wait for you. I'm just joking. Okay. Some answers from online. Sampat Kumar says that one direction, time flows always in one direction. It just passes away. You cannot get back. Bhaswati Das, she's saying time is unstoppable. Yes, any other answers? Any other thoughts? Okay, good thoughts. These are some of the answers which I get in most of the sessions. General thoughts about the time. We think we have a lot of time while snoozing the alarm. So this is one of the biggest diseases. Everybody thinks they have a lot of time. How many of you have got into trouble by thinking you have a lot of time? Have you got into trouble? Many times. Only one person is raising hand. Others are like, bole ki nahi bole, should I raise my hand or not? Some people say that I have very little time to finish the task. Sometimes people say, I always have 5 minutes for everything. I wish I had more time. Some people say, I don't have time. And there is a huge variety, a huge category of people who say, maybe my time is not good right now. That's why things are not going in the right way. These are some of the perceptions which people have, ideas which have. But one thing I can tell you for sure, whether we talk about spiritual life or material life, time as an energy of the Lord, one has to be very conscious of always. You can't be letting the time flow away simply and being very easy with the management of time. You have to be very, very conscious of the time, whether material life is involved or whether spiritual life is involved. Energy of Krishna should not be wasted. Once, Srila Prabhupada was having a walk in one of his temples, and then he called one of his disciples and he asked that nobody is there in that room. Why is the fan on? The disciple said, I don't know. I don't know why the fan is on. I don't know who switched it on. The Srila Prabhupada said, this is not good. This is wastage of Krishna's energy. So a devotee is very possessive of Krishna's energy. Suppose your father had built this place. Suppose. And you came in and you saw nobody is here, but all the lights and fans are on. How do you feel? This is wastage of my father's money. So similarly, Krishna is the supreme father. So we have to be very possessive about Krishna's energy. So therefore, all these people who have made a difference in their lives and in the lives of others, they are always on the avyartha kalatvam platform. Means they do not waste time. That's a different thing whether they utilize their time effectively or not, but at least they do not waste their time. Utilization of time is one thing, and proper utilization of time is another. So a devotee of Krishna, strictly speaking from the devotional perspective, he wants to use every bit of his time in the service of Krishna, Guru and Krishna. That is called avyartha kalatvam. Okay, so this is some of the ideas which are there about time. Talking about perception of time. There are two perspectives of time. One is the absolute, and what people also say it is eternal and relative. Eternal perspective. Small clarification. The people who are online, are you able to hear properly? Able to hear them, that's fine. Thank you. So there are two perspectives of time, eternal, absolute, relative, and temporary. Let's try to understand what is this. What is the eternal perspective of time and what is the relative perspective of time? There's a very nice shloka in the Bhagavad-Gita. I think this is a very famous shloka. In the 11th chapter, shloka number 32. In the 10th chapter, Krishna describes his opulences. It's called as the opulence of the absolute truth, or opulence of Krishna. He talks about the various vibhutis. Arjuna asks Krishna that please tell me about your opulence. And Krishna says it's not possible to describe. You are resident of this universe. You don't know anything beyond this universe. So in relation to this universe, so that you can get some idea, I will describe few things, but there is no limit to the description. So 84 descriptions he gives about himself. I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm this, I'm that. Amongst the senses, I'm the mind, I'm the taste of water. So some relativity he brings in so that a person of this universe can understand. And after that, when he moves into the 11th chapter, Arjuna expresses the desire that I want to see a universal form. And then Krishna shows the universal form, the very famous universal form. And then Arjuna becomes very afraid and asks this question, who are you? And what is your mission? And why you have come here? So in answer to that question, this verse comes. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Would you like to repeat? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Kalosmi Lokshaya Krit. Kalosmi Lokshaya Krit Pravriddho Lokan Samhartum Niha Pravittah Ritepi Tvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve Yeva Sthitah Pratyanikeshu Yodha. This is the way to, every Bhagavad Gita has words can pronounce in various ways. This is one of the meters. Would someone like to recite after me, or take a turn, or try it? Would you like to recite it? Just some engagement for everybody. Would you like to recite? Would you like to give it a shot? Yeah, the sloka. Try. First your name and then you try. Nikhilesh. Yeah. Shaya Pravriddho Pravitra Rite Pitvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve Yeva Sthitaha Pratyanikeshu Yodhaha. Very good. Thank you. Can we have one round of applause? It's not easy when you're pointed out. Everybody will think, I know how to recite, but when it comes to you, you will not be able to recite. So who would like to read the translation of this? Okay, first I'll read. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. When you read this translation, just take 30 seconds and try to read this translation again and try to come up or try to tell what are the various aspects which Krishna is talking about in this verse. He's telling, I am time. He's saying, I am the destroyer of the worlds. I have come here to destroy everybody. Pandavas will not be destroyed. Just try to think why Pandavas will not be destroyed. And apart from Pandavas, all the soldiers on both the sides, even the Pandava soldiers will be destroyed. So what do you think when you see this shloka? What comes to your mind? If we just ask you to comment one line, one word, what would you say? Does this shloka talk about the destruction aspect of time? Time destroys. Correct? I have a young body. After some time, it will become an old body. And after some time, it will be destroyed. Do you agree that time destroys everything over a period of time? Yes. But do you also feel that time maintains also? ठीक हो जाएगा सब कुछ. समय के साथ ठीक हो जाएगा. With time, everything will be okay. That's another aspect of time. Time maintains, time destroys. So this shloka specifically talks about the destruction aspect of time. But there is something very unique here to see. Lord Krishna is telling, with the exception of you Pandavas. That means we should derive, although we don't know the full depth of this chapter, but we should get some hint that time as an energy of the Lord is little favorable towards the Pandavas. Who are the Pandavas? Devotees of the Lord. Pandavas are the devotees of the Lord, and time as an energy of the Lord shows or behaves a little favorably towards them. Can we infer at least this much from this shloka? That means if you are a devotee of the Lord, somehow time will favor you. Maybe not according to your expectation, but according to the end result which the Lord wants to achieve through you. Krishna will achieve through you what he wants, not exactly the way you want. The story of Pandavas is the biggest proof. They were very malleable. They were very much surrendered to Krishna, so they became the instruments of Krishna. But a materialist, when they would look at the life of Pandavas, they would say they are pure devotees, they are so close to Krishna, but all their life they were in poverty, all their life they were struggling, they were thrown away from their own kingdom. They were, people were making attempts to kill them, burn them, poison them, loot them. That doesn't sound like a good life, right? But in that life, the great opulence which they had was they had the constant attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And time and again, they had the association with Krishna. And best part was their minds were always absorbed in the thoughts, name, qualities, pastimes, and form of Krishna. That's a great achievement. That's called Samadhi. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyadi mam namaskaru mam evashya satyante pratijani priyosme. Today morning, we were having a youth class where somebody asked this shloka and said that how is it relevant to us in our life? What success sutra can we derive from this verse? So we derived 3-4 success sutras from this verse. One of them was, Mind always has a tendency of being unhappy and unsatisfied in every situation. One thinks that, okay, here the fan's air is not coming. Can you switch on this fan? One thinks that the fan air is not coming here. If I move my chair there, or if I switch on the fan, so one will think that fan air is not coming, now it is coming, I'll be happy. But after 2 minutes, my mind will find some other reason to be unhappy. It's making noise, it's not swinging. So in any circumstance, in any situation you go, mind finds some reason or the other to be unhappy. Mind always wants something newer and newer every moment. But do we have the capacity, or does anything in this entire creation has the capacity to manifest itself in newer and newer ways just for the satisfaction of your mind? Is it possible? No. But we see practically, we see the devotees of Krishna, they chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. They don't change the mantra. They sing the same mantra, they dance the same mantra, they chant the same mantra, and they do it throughout their lives. And they are not mindless robots. Please understand this point. They are human beings. But every day, if you ask a person who is properly situated in their Krishna consciousness, they will feel that chanting the same mantra gives them newer and newer experiences every day. This is reality, and I'm telling you from my personal experience. Reading the same Bhagavad Gita verse gives you newer and newer realizations almost on a daily basis. So, the point which I'm trying to say is that there is nothing in this world which can be newer and newer and ever fresh and ever new every moment, except Krishna. The name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna. If one can meditate on that, then their search for happiness is over. The flickering tendency of the mind is gone away. The mind has become controlled. The mind has become happy. Don't you think it's a great success sutra? We are all hankering for happiness. We are all looking for something new and ever fresh in every moment, so that our mind doesn't become distracted to find something new and something fresh. Here is the master stroke. Here is the success sutra. Simply by meditating on the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna, one-stop solution. Just like when you go to the supermarket, you get the potato also there, you get the slipper also there, you get the mopping stick also there, you get the grocery also, everything you get in one place, one-stop solution. We all want that kind of solution. So Krishna is like that. You just take to the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. You don't have to go anywhere else. All the anxiety is over. So that is called one-stop solution. And so this is a success sutra. Man mana bhav mad bhakt. And the Pandavas, moment after moment, they were on this platform. Man mana bhav mad bhakt. So the life of Pandavas was a great life actually. And we also conclude that time is favoring them, because they are able to meditate on the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. This in itself is the proof that time has favored them. Okay, moving further. Some of the actions of eternal time. In the previous levels, we studied the material elements like the earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the 8 material elements. And how they interact, that is the karma and the modes of material nature. We covered sessions on karma, we covered sessions on the modes of material nature. And time, as I said, it does 2 kinds of actions. Controller, that is, it moves and controls everything, and destroyer, it moves everything towards destruction also. 2 things it will do. It will control. When you were a small child, you could have run faster. But now as an old man, one is not able to run so fast. When one is young, one can eat very nicely, but when one grows old, they cannot eat very nicely. So time controls many things. Earlier, probably 10 rotis were going on inside. Now time has controlled it to 2 rotis. Earlier 10 cups of rice, now 2 cups of rice. So that is the answer. It is a controller. And destroyer, of course, I don't need to explain this. It's a well-known fact that it's ultimately leading everybody to destruction. And time, as an energy of the Lord, exists both in the material as well as the spiritual world.
Okay, 7542
Okay. Car number 7542 and 1082. Parked in the wrong place, needs to be moved so that the local traffic. These two cars, please. By the way, when such a please move it and come back fast. Don't sit in the cars and go away. When such an interruption happens, it means bona fide Krishna Katha is happening. No interruption means some problem. Even when the Srimad Bhagavatam was being recited, Indra came with a cup of nectar in his hands. He said, "Kaye ko itna dimag kharab kar rahe hain?" He's supposed to die via the bite of Takshak. Here is the nectar, drink it. Even when Takshak comes and bites, he'll not die. Why 60,000 sages have assembled? Why so much Srimad Bhagavatam is going on? Indra came up with that stopgap solution. Imperfect solution. So everybody said that everybody except Indra is fit to stay in this assembly. Indra, you please leave. So these car numbers and these nectar cups keep coming from disturbance in Bhagavatam Katha or Bhagavad-Gita Katha is bona fide. And if disturbance is coming, that means we are going on the right track. Okay, so don't get demotivated. And we hope those two people will come back also. So time exists both in the spiritual as well as material world. You know what is material world? You know what is material world? You don't know? Material world is the place where I'm living. We are living. Spiritual world is the abode of the Lord. What is the difference between the two? For those who are joining for the first time, what is the difference between spiritual world and material world? Or maybe those who have some idea, who have attended the sessions. One is always miserable in the material world. Material world is a dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, anityam, asukham. But the spiritual world is a place where every word is a song and every step is a dance. Why? Because there is no birth, no disease, no old age, no death. That's spiritual world. And the aim of human life is to come out of the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease and go back home, back to Godhead, where Krishna lives eternally with his eternal associates and devotees. Okay, so time exists both in spiritual and material world. Time in the material world is a controller and a destroyer. But time in the spiritual world is just a servant of Krishna. Time doesn't control anybody in the spiritual world. It controls everybody only in the material world. Now, we need to understand the actual picture of time. We are not sadistic people here. That, okay, Prabhuji is telling very bad things about time. Hamara time aayega, acha time aayega. We are also enjoying. No. Every one of you sitting here and every one of you who is not sitting here, and all of you who are there in the session online, all of you, including me, we are dying every moment. The moment we were born, at that time only a bullet was fired. That is called the death bullet. And it is having its own time. And at a particular time, it is sure to come and hit me and I will fall down. It's as serious as that. We are all dying moment after moment. So we need to really understand this in the right perspective. Generally, all the unnecessary things, the unnecessary quarreling which is happening all around, the unnecessary yellow page journalism, there in the front, first, second, and third page, 7th, 8th, or the 9th page of the newspaper, somewhere in the corner, they will write, this person has died. They don't put it on the first page because they want to fool everybody. Everybody to think that this world is a very nice place and everything is going on very nicely. We are progressing in the name of progress. We are getting so many things. We are able to eat nicely. We are able to sleep nicely. We are able to mate nicely and we are able to defend nicely. That is the purpose of life. It is getting fulfilled. We are eating so nicely that we are running with burgers in our hand. We are sleeping so nicely that we are taking sleeping pills every day. We are mating so nicely that we keep changing our wives and partners and husbands every moment. And we are so much nice in our defense that we need to keep insurances right from mobile till our house. But still we say we are progressing. What is the progress? I don't understand. One cannot eat nicely, one cannot sleep nicely, one cannot mate nicely, one cannot defend nicely, but we are progressing. So these things people don't help you to understand. Moment after moment, everybody is dying. They will not put that. So we need to understand, and we need to be a little bit pessimistic about this material world. It's not a good place to stay. One has to have the determination to go back to God. In fact, Krishna has designed this material world in such a way and put that time factor just to make us realize who we are. If Krishna doesn't control us through the time, and if Krishna doesn't destroy us through the time, then we will start thinking that this material world is a very nice place. Let me stay here eternally. Krishna wants us home, back to God. Therefore, he destroys it. When he sees that we are attached to unnecessary things, he destroys that very thing just to make us wake up, shake us up, and put us into the reality that yes, you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. Jivera Swarup hai Krishna Rantidas. You are supposed to be worshipping me, serving me, and cooperatively enjoying with me. But look what you're doing. You've become a pig. And you're thinking that you are very happy. So therefore, Krishna's energy, the time, it always controls everything and destroys everything, whether we want or whether we don't want. Sometimes when I speak like this, they say, Prabhuji, acha nahi bolte hain, sirf ganda ganda bolte hain. He speaks very, he hurts our feelings. Why can't he show us a good picture? Why can't he give us hope in life? It's no point telling a child that the sand castle which you are making will last forever. We are all busy building sand castles which has no existence. It is better to realize that we are doing something which is futile. That is the action of eternal time. It will control everything and it will destroy everything. And we need to know how to properly utilize the limited time which we have, so that at the end of the day, we don't feel that we have lost everything. One may be an atheist, one may be a big scientist, one may be a Stephen Hawking, but you can deny the existence of God, and you can deny the absolute control which the laws of material nature have on you only until you face death. But once you face death, that time you have to accept. Mrityu sarva harashchaham. Krishna says that those who are not believing in the Bhagavad-Gita and who are not practicing devotional service, I come to them and in the form of death and I take away everything. All your skyscraper and all the guns and all the degrees and all the money and all the so-called well-wishing, loving relatives is lost at one moment. Then you cannot deny the existence of God. That time you have to accept. So therefore only a madman will waste time, and only a madman will deny the existence of God. Am I clear till this point? Or have I painted a very, very pessimistic picture? Any disagreement, either people who are online or those who are physically present? Any disagreement that no, Prabhuji, what you have presented, I don't agree with. I can control my fate. I can control my time. Mera time aayega, apna time aayega. And there was some song like that, na, apna time aayega. As if they know apna time aayega, you can control time. So, I'll share my screen again for those who are online. This is some photo which I found. This is going to be the condition of everybody. So, let's see what Srila Prabhupada says. He says, the body is the subject to 6 kinds of transformations. A transformation itself is the proof of time. It takes its birth. So we are all having these 6 symptoms. What are they? It takes its birth from the womb of a mother's body. It may not be a human species mother, any mother. It remains for some time. Grows. It produces some effects. That means it reproduces, it creates some offspring. It dwindles. and at last it vanishes into oblivion. So time affects us in these 6 different ways. It helps or it facilitates the birth, then it facilitates the maintenance, then it facilitates the growth, then it facilitates the reproduction, then it facilitates the dwindling, and ultimately one will be lost and forgotten like the pages of the history chapter of class 6 or 7. All right. So everybody will be forgotten. All of us who are sitting here, we will be forgotten after death, or maybe even before our death, people will forget us. So we have to learn to utilize the time properly. However, the soul does not go through such changes. Only the soul actually has the original identity, and everything else which we speak or which we identify ourselves with, whether it is the gross body or whether it is the subtle body. You know what is subtle body? How many of you don't know what is subtle body? Subtle body, we all have 3 kinds of bodies. We are the spirit soul, in a sense. Gross body means this, that which you can see and touch. This is the gross body. But this is not what I am. My whole body, all the cells of my body, they change once in 7 years. 7 years ago, I had a different body, now I have a different body. But I still feel I'm the same person. Okay? 7 years ago, my intelligence was at a different level, now it is at a different level. 10 years ago, my mind was thinking differently, now my mind is addicted to so many things. 15 years ago, my ego was very small, now my ego is bigger than the Qutub Minar. So certainly, but still I feel I am the same person. That means I'm not this body. I'm not the mind. I'm not even the intelligence. I am the spirit soul. So the combination of mind, intelligence, and false ego is called as the subtle body. This is called as the gross body. And we all have a spiritual body also. Essentially, we are spirit souls. So the soul doesn't go through such changes. Soul is unaffected by time. However, the gross body and the subtle body, they are affected by time. And the original identity is of the soul. Many people say, I think all of you are already convinced. Is anybody not convinced that you are not a soul? Let me just check for those who are joining for the first time. I think everybody is convinced. And apart from this soul, there is nothing else which will have a continued existence or a continued identity. As I'm speaking about this, I'm thinking of the great kingdom of Krishna Deva Raya. What a flourishing kingdom it was in the Hampi and all those areas. They used to sell gold and diamonds and rubies and kohinoors on the street just like vegetables. Where is that king now? Where is that kingdom now? Where are those temples now? Where is that administration now? Where is it? Lost and forgotten. That is the effect of time. All the beauty of this world, all the wealth of this world, all the fame and name of this world, all the intelligence and education of this world, all the strength and influence of this world is destroyed by one single aspect of Krishna, time. Now, do we understand how insignificant we are? We are thinking we are so great. I am the next Alexander, the next Hitler, the next, what do you call it? Michael Jackson. Where is Michael Jackson now? So that is time. Role of time in the creation. I don't know if you're able to see my screen. A screenshot. Just to add some more information. How time as an energy of the Lord is very flexible. It expands and contracts, and it works differently in the different realms of this universe. So let me just take a laser pointer and describe to you. So this is called Kali Yuga. You're able to see on the television also? So Kali Yuga, the 4 yugas, Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. Sorry, Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, and Satyuga. These 4 yugas, they form something called the Divya Yuga. The 4 yuga cycle is called as Divya Yuga cycle. So one Kali Yuga lasts for 4,32,000 years, out of which only 5,000 years have passed. Lot more crap is pending. You have not yet seen it. Dwapar Yuga, if Kali Yuga is X, then Dwapar Yuga is 2X, 8,64,000 years. Similarly, the Treta Yuga is 12,96,000 years and Satyuga is 17,20,000 years. So X plus 2X plus 3X, X plus 2X plus 4X plus 8X. No, sorry, X plus 2X plus 3X plus 4X, totally 10X. So 10 times the size of Kali Yuga is the size of one Divya Yuga. And we can just imagine what is our lifespan here. It's like it's not even a point on this time scale, but still we are thinking we are very important. One of the intentions of putting this slide is to make us feel how insignificant we are. Coming from one Divya Yuga, now there are 71 Divya Yugas in one Manvantara. So Manu, from whom the Manushyas or the human beings come, he is an empowered representative of the Lord, who is in charge of ruling the various realms of this universe. In a future session, I will talk to you about the universe and the 14 planetary systems which are there in this universe. So one Manu rules for 71 Divya Yugas. And like this, there are 14 Manvantaras. That means 14 Manus take birth and die, along with a padding of 15 Sandhyas in one day of Brahma. Just try to understand. We live for 70, 80 years, but the Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. The whole Divya Yuga is 4.32 million years. There are 71 Divya Yugas in one Manvantara. And in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. That means 14 Manus. They take birth and they die. And Brahma lives for 36,000 days. That means if 1 year is 360 days, then he lives for 100 years. So the lifespan of Brahma is 311 trillion, 40 billion years. Does that sound like eternity to you? Guess what? Brahma feels he lives only for 100 years. Brahma doesn't feel that he lives for 311 trillion, 40 billion years. Brahma feels he's living only for 40 years, 100 years, that's all. There are so many insects which take birth in the night, reproduce in the night, die also in the night. They have never seen the daylight. For that insect, it has lived hundreds of years in the night. But for a human being like us, we will feel such an insignificant insect. Took birth at 1 a.m., grew up at 1:30 a.m., reproduced at 2:30 a.m., and then died at 3 a.m. So that's how time, I'm trying to explain the relative aspect of time. Another very relevant example I'll give. If someone suppose if someone asks you to sit on a hot stove for 1 minute, how will you feel? 1 hour? You're very liberal, I must say. 1 minute of sitting on will take you into our kitchen. 1 minute of sitting on a hot stove will sound like hundreds of years. Similarly, can I give an example again? If somebody makes a good-looking person like you sit with a good-looking girl for 2 hours, how much time will that feel? Nanosecond. Here is the difference. 1 minute on a stove equal to 100 years, and 2 hours with a beautiful opposite gender like a nanosecond. So that from this example only you should be able to understand that although Brahma is factually living for 311 trillion 40 billion years, but he feels that he lives only for 100 years. So I'm just trying to explain you how insignificant we are. in this universe. But still, we are so puffed up that we think that we are so important and that everybody should pay attention to me and that the whole universe should revolve around me and everybody should fall at my feet wherever I go and everything is meant for me and everything is meant for my enjoyment. I am the owner of everything which I see. Aham Balwan, Aham Sukhi. This is our consciousness. So we have to break this consciousness. That's why I have shown this picture. Moving on. Now there are many pastimes in the Puranas which give this relativity of time. I'm pretty sure you must have heard that Revati and Raivat story. Raivat was a king, his daughter was Revati, he was in a different yuga. He went to Brahmaloka, discussed with Lord Brahma, whom should I marry my daughter to? But by the time Brahma was listening to some songs sung by some Gandharvas whose names were Haha and Huhu, and they are actually their names, Haha and Huhu. And in one place I heard, when I was in Ahobilam, I heard that Haha and Huhu were blessed by Lord Narasimhadev, that whenever they will do Kirtan, the Lord will personally hear. So Brahma was listening to the Kirtan, and then Brahma doesn't listen to some film songs. He listens only to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when the Kirtan got over, and then when Revat approached that I want to marry my daughter, whom should I marry? I have this much money with me. So Brahma said, don't worry. Don't speak about your kingdom. Don't speak about that yuga. Your whole dynasty is now destroyed. 1 hour when you waited here in this Brahma assembly hall, Brahmaloka assembly hall, by that time so many manvantaras have passed up. So then Revat became very confused. He said, what to do now? I have a daughter and I'm literally nobody in the earthly planetary system now. What should I do? Where should I go? Whom should I marry? And Brahma said, okay, presently the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna and Balram are there in Dwarka. You go and marry your daughter to Balram. And that's how one of the names of Balram is Revati Nath. So the relativity of time is very nicely described in various pastimes. Various pastimes. Okay. So transformation in the course of the yugas. You can see Kali Yuga was 4,32,000 years. Dwapar Yuga is twice of Kali Yuga. Treta Yuga is thrice of Kali Yuga, and Satya Yuga is 4 times the Kali Yuga. And different yugas, different pillars of Dharma have broken. There are 4 pillars of Dharma. Who can tell me? 4 pillars of Dharma. If Dharma is represented by a bull, then it has 4 legs. What are the 4 principal pillars or the 4 legs of Dharma? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. They're not the 4 pillars of Dharma. If you have noticed, you said Dharma only as one of the pillars of Dharma. So these are the 4 achievements which one can have in life. It is called as the Purusharth, 4 Purusharth. But they are not the ultimate. There is something called as Pancham Purusharth, that is love of God, Krishna Prema. So a devotee of Krishna targets not Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha, but they target Krishna Prema. But the question which I am asking is something else. What are the Dharma, Artha and Kama and Moksha? So in that Dharma is there. What are the 4 pillars of Dharma? That is my question. Yes. Ahimsa. Okay. Any other answer? Abhaya, Daya, mercy. Okay. Sorry? Satya, truth. Mercy, truth. Yes, 2 answers. Any other answer? There are 4 pillars. Mercy, ahimsa comes in mercy only. Mercy, truth. Okay, somebody online has already answered. Let me see. Austerity, cleanliness, compassion, and truth. Cleanliness, mercy, and truth. These are the 4 pillars of Dharma. Bhaswati Das. Thank you very much. Austerity, cleanliness, shaucha, truth, satya, mercy, daya. They are the four pillars of Dharma. And in different yugas, different pillars have been broken. Satyuga, all the four pillars were there. Treta Yuga, one of the pillars was broken. In Dwapar Yuga, one of the pillars was broken. And in Kali Yuga, one of the pillars was broken. So, in Kali Yuga, the only pillar of Dharma which remains is Satya. There is no tapasya element in Kali Yuga. Everywhere we see there is an instant idli, instant dosa, instant this, instant that. There is no question of doing any tapasya. People don't have bath also. People cannot fast also. People cannot walk also. People cannot sit also. Nothing people can do. There's no question of doing any tapasya. So the austerity element is destroyed. The austerity element is destroyed basically by intoxication. When somebody starts drinking liquor, the tapasya element is destroyed. Mercy aspect is also destroyed in Kali Yuga. Which is the most major factor which destroys the mercy aspect? Can you tell me? Sorry? Selfishness. Selfishness, okay. Non-vegetarian consumption. Eating meat, fish and eggs destroys all kind of mercy which you have. You cannot claim that, okay, I am eating this chicken biryani, but you see, I'm enrolled in the PETA and I'm an animal lover. I love my dog, but I eat the chicken. You can't post photos with a dog, hugging a dog on your Facebook, Instagram profile, but be having chicken biryani, eggs. Your mercy starts from your dinner table. So mercy is destroyed by consumption of meat, fish and eggs. So we saw austerity is destroyed by intoxication, mercy is destroyed by non-vegetarian food. How is cleanliness destroyed? Shaucha. Cleanliness is destroyed how? By not having bath. How is cleanliness destroyed? Yes. By illicit sexual activity. See, cleanliness is not just an external thing, it is an internal thing also. One needs to be clean both internally and externally to access higher truths of life. Purity is the force. One who is pure, they attract higher powers. And now, in the name of mobile, in the name of Netflix and what all is there, everything is going on. 10-year-old children, they are exposed to sex life. That is the situation. I think I'm exaggerating when I say 10-year-old. 5-year-old children are also exposed. And everybody, no matter how tired their body is, no matter how tired their mind is, they'll be sitting with the mobile on their bed until the mobile slips from their hand and falls on their face to make them realize that they are dead tired, but still they'll be browsing pornography websites. This is going on. You know, most of the cases which come to me for counseling, this is the struggle. I can't help viewing unscrupulous websites. And this is destroying marriage lives. This is destroying professional lives. This is destroying social life. This is destroying normal life. And after this unscrupulous websites come these movies and so much of free mixing happening in the name of modern education. Advancement. Advancement will be measured by the degree to which you intermingle with the opposite gender. Sometimes people say, ISKCON, when we go for classes, they make the males sit on one side and females sit on one side. This is so barbaric. This is so backward. Our question or our answer to such statements is that, what can you ever achieve in life if you are always agitated by lusty desires? If you are not peaceful only, how can you properly think also? Now the degree of contamination is so much that they do not even realize that they are doing something which is abominable. So therefore, in Kali Yuga, there is no cleanliness. The only thing which remains to some degree is Satya. Question can be asked, does everybody speak the truth? Answer is no, nobody speaks the truth. But still, you are expected to speak the truth. If I lie in public, I can be put in jail. Correct, no? But if I eat non-vegetarian food in public, no problem. If you have illicit sexual relationships in public, if it comes out in the newspaper, no problem. So therefore, the only pillar of dharma which remains is satya. That to a very small degree. And very soon that will also be destroyed. It will be okay to lie. हम भगवत गीता पर हाथ रख के कसम खाते हैं कि हम जो भी कहेंगे सच कहेंगे और सच के सिवा सब कुछ कहेंगे. So this is a transformation in the course of yugas. There were all the pillars in Satyuga, and now there is only one pillar which is remained. Why am I describing this? I'm just trying to show you the effect of time. Now, there is another aspect of time which you need to be conscious of. That is the 3 different times of the day. That is the Brahma Muhurta and the normal day, evening time. Morning, early morning, daytime, and the night time. Early morning is in the mode of goodness, conducive for sober and spiritual practices. As the day progresses, passion sets in, and as the night processes, the mode of ignorance kicks in. So these are the 3 different times of the day. Time also affects us. It affects our biology. It affects our consciousness. Why don't all these bars and pubs and brothels open at 4:30 a.m. in the morning? Have you thought? Why do they open only when the sun sets? Yeah, sunsets. Have you seen a person going to a bar and doing some agarbatti puja and then opening the bar at 4:30 a.m. in the morning? No, it shuts down. In the Brahma Muhurta, there is a very unique influence on all the living entities. That is a very positive influence. The effect of the mode of goodness is very prominent in that time. When you get up at that time, naturally you feel like coming to the temple. Naturally you feel like chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And the moment the sun rises, you be sitting in one place. You just check the sunrise time. And before the sunrise, you be available for 1 hour. And after the sunrise, you be available for 1 hour. And you keep doing the same activity for these 2 hours. You will clearly, if you can observe your consciousness, if you are sane enough to observe your consciousness, the moment the sun rises, you'll feel a difference in your consciousness. The moment the sun rises, all the thoughts like, I have to buy this, I have to get that, I have to check my email, I have to check that female, all these thoughts will start coming in your mind. Do you agree with me? In the Brahma Muhurta, there is a very peaceful, relaxed, carefree kind of an environment where you really feel like there is some value to life. But the moment the sun rises, everything changes. Idhar jao, udhar jao, ye karo, wo kharido, idhar lao, ye bill, wo bill, iska bill, uska bill. And the moment the sun sets, a strange ignorance jumps. Your body also doesn't digest the food. Your body also becomes lazy. Those people who have very late dinner, they always suffer. They have a very late dinner, the food doesn't get digested. They go to sleep like that because of having late dinner and the food not getting digested. They dream a lot and they can't even sleep properly. And then they suffer in the next day. That's how time affects us. It affects even our biology, it affects even our psychology, it affects our conscious mind, subconscious mind, everything. So these are some of the effects of time. And now, the second last part of today's discussion is how to effectively utilize our time. Srila Prabhupada says the following. As far as, this is from the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 2, shloka number 47. As far as the prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into 3 subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work, performed as an obligation in terms of scriptural injunctions, without desire for results, is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to the prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the results. Such disinterested, obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. So this is a formula how to effectively utilize your time. Let's try to derive some answers from here. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of scriptural injunctions. That means, first of all, if you want to utilize your time properly, have a routine. Don't be so spontaneous that you eat whenever you want, you sleep whenever you want, you do whatever you want. This saps the human energy. It really saps the human energy. If you do not eat on time, if you don't sleep on time, if you don't work on time, if you work overtime, this will really reduce your lifespan. Similarly, whatever routine activity you perform has to be done according to the scriptural injunctions. Those who follow the Vedic scriptures, they are safe. For example, you're driving on the road and you know the rules of the traffic, so you're safe. Similarly, Bhagavad-Gita is the book of life. It's the law book of your life. It tells you when to sleep, how much to sleep, how to work, how much to work, what to do, what not to do, what to eat, what not to eat. Lack of knowledge is the cause of suffering. You can't say that my parents didn't give me the Bhagavad Gita when I was 8 years old and beef was stuffed into my mouth the moment I was born. So therefore, I didn't know. So please excuse me. Can you say that? If you are caught on the road driving on the wrong side just because you don't know the traffic rules, and if you say that I'm sorry, I didn't know this rule, will it work? If your small child touches the fire, and if you tell the fire, don't burn my child doesn't know your effect, will it work? So the laws of nature are very strict. They don't consider, they do not differentiate. Ignorance is not an excuse. So therefore, we should know the scriptural injunctions, what the Bhagavad Gita tells and what it wants us to do. If we don't know, it is our fault. So if you want to properly utilize your time, first get into a routine. Then work according to the scriptures. And then how you have to work in a very disinterested and obligatory way. I'm just doing it because that's my duty. I do not claim proprietorship of the result which is coming out. That's called being large-hearted. Not a miser. Whatever money I'm earning, 99% is for my wife, 1% is for others. Whatever money I'm getting, 99% is for me, 1% is for my staff. Whatever result has come, I'm taking all the credit, and my team members are just idiots. I'm just tolerating them. I'm the one. Look at me. So this kind of consciousness is not auspicious. It will cause bondage. So one should know how to work and offer their results for the benefit of the Lord. See, the best thing is to completely work for the Lord. But if one cannot do that, then one should learn how to offer a portion of their result to the Lord. That is the recommendation of the Bhagavad Gita. Yad karoshi yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi yad tapashyasi kaunteya, tad kurushva madarpanam. Okay, I'm not at that platform, Krishna, where I will do whatever you want me to do. I'm attached. I'm not a pure devotee. Okay. You do whatever you want. Yad karoshi. But you offer it to Krishna. Yad karoshi yad ashnasi. Whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you do, whatever you give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that as an offering to Krishna. That means having the, if I'm going to office, I should think, why am I going to office? I'm going to office because I have the deities of Radha and Krishna at home. And I have to invite saintly people in my house once a month. I want to feed them, so I want some money. I want to offer once a month some nice 10-15 items of bhoga, so I need some money. Krishna has sent me a wife. Krishna has sent me some children, some souls whom I have to take care of, so I need some money. I have to give sufficient amount of my money in charity to the saintly people, and that way I have to get detached from my money. So therefore, this money which is coming to me, it is not meant for extravagance, but it is just a tool by which I am able to remain in the association of devotees, serving Krishna. And in this way, I'm just disinterested in this entire pursuit, and I'm doing it as an obligation. So therefore, I'm not generating any bondage out of it. At the time of death, I will not be thinking how much money is there in my bank account and whether my son will take away everything or not. Will my daughter get something or not? And what will happen to my wife? That is called disinterested obligatory work. So if we want to effectively utilize time, first we need to have a routine. Then we need to be following the scriptural injunctions. And then we have to do it without the desire for results. Then we will properly utilize our time. And then the end result will be, we will be attaining liberation from the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. Now, can we be successful at all the times? Can you be always successful? Another effect of time is some ups and downs in life. Can you always be successful? You cannot be successful. So, I will share my screen. This is a very nice verse. Hare Krishna. So sorry for the disconnect, the glitch. The power just went off and now it's back. This is for those people who are online. Where was the last point you got disconnected? Can you just tell me in the chat box? What was the last thing which you were hearing? Yes, we were talking about that verse. Did you hear that part when I said that is time, or can you always be successful? Is time all the same? Are there any ups and downs? Yeah, ups and downs in life. Okay, so you attended till that point. Okay, so I'll go back to that verse. Is it visible on my screen? Let me go to the presentation. Okay, it's there visible. I'll just share it for the online people. Okay, hope online people are also able to see. If you are seeing my screen, can you please type yes in the chat box? Are you able to see my screen? Okay, thank you. And here also the screen is visible. So what is the effect of time? This is a very nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which helps us to understand and have a very saner understanding of the effect of time. This is stated by Arjuna. Tadvai dhanusta ishava saratho hayaste soham rathi nripatayo yata ana manti sarvam kshanena tad abhud asad ishariktam bhasman hutam kuhakarat radham evoktam ushyam. This can be sung also in some way. Tadvai dhanusta ishava saratho hayaste soham rathi nripatayo yata anamanti sarvam kshanena tadabhuda sadishariktam bhasman hutam kuhakaradhamivoktamushyam. The translation says, I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjuna to whom all the kings offered their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds in a barren land. So these are the variations which even a most successful person like Arjuna also had this in his life. He's telling that when Krishna was there, I was respected by all the rulers of this planet, and wherever I go, people would offer all obeisances to me and all facilities to me, and nobody would dare talk to me against the desires which I was carrying in my heart. So I am the same Arjuna with the same arrows, the same bow, the same chariot. But now there is a situation in which once Krishna disappeared, I found myself in a situation that I couldn't even lift my bow. All my opulence as the greatest archer of this planet became null and void in a moment's notice when Ishariktam happened. That means when Lord Krishna departed from this world, the potency which he had invested in his instrument, that is Arjuna, also left with him. So Krishna had a plan, and for executing his plan, he empowered Arjuna as an instrument. Now, when the task of Arjuna and the plan of Krishna was accomplished, he took back his potencies. So we are all, this I am specifically quoting to make us understand that all the feathers which we have may be borrowed plumes.
Whatever abilities which we have is just a grace from Krishna. Let's not be artificially puffed up. I'm very beautiful. I'm very intelligent. I'm very strong. I'm very influential. I have a lot of name and fame. I have a lot of money. I can make money in this way. I can make money in that way. Krishna will pull one plug and everything will become zero. This happened with Arjuna. This happens with everybody. Our successful time means that we are reaping the results of our good work, or Krishna is sanctioning our desires. Our unsuccessful time means that we are reaping the results of our bad karma, and Krishna is not sanctioning our desires. So basically, another aspect to this verse is, understand that if karma is an equation, then there are many variables to that equation. The body in which I am performing the work, the intention with which I am performing the work, the senses which are involved in performing that work. And one of the most important variables of this equation in karma is the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It may be possible that the time is right. It may be possible that you are the right person. It may be possible you have the right potential. You have the right people at work. But when the sanction of Krishna is not there, everything will flop. But we have also seen cases where the person is not right, the attempt is half-hearted, and the people are not right, and everything is a complete chaos, but it becomes successful. Have we seen things like that? It is generally called Allah Meherban to Gadha Pehlwan situation. It works. How does this phrase come? It simply means, for example, another example I'll give you. Two scientists studying from the same college, having the same degree, having the same employment qualification, that means the same salary, having the same lab, having the same facilities, but one of them cracks the experiment and one of them doesn't crack the experiment. How will you explain this? Same inputs, but output is different. Same qualification, but output is different. Same facilities, but output is different. It simply means that in one case, Krishna sanctioned, and in one case, Krishna didn't sanction. So what I'm trying to say here is that no matter whatever is the result of our work, we have to just focus on the quality of our action. If the focus is on the result, then life will become a puzzle. Something for your notebook. If the focus is only on the result, then life will become a puzzle. We'll never understand what is happening. Why is it happening to us? Last time I worked hard for 2 years, I got this output. Now I worked again hard for 2 years, I'm getting worst output. So time is offered to us to improve our quality and surrender towards the process of the Bhagavad-Gita. Time is very rare. Having attained this human form of life, if we are not engaging in devotional service unto the lotus feet of Krishna, and if we are thinking there are so many other things worth doing, everything will be taken away at the time of death. How many of you would like to invest in a bank which has declared bankruptcy? Please raise your hand. The bank has declared that I am bankrupt, but you have 1 crore rupees you want to invest there. Can somebody tell me, if you don't want to invest there, why you don't want to invest there? Risk is there. There's no high risk. It is completely risk. Because you know, when you put the money in that bank, it's a waste of time. What's your name? Ravindra. Suppose you made a skyscraper and you booked 18 flats in that skyscraper for you and for your well-wishers. Near ones, loved ones, and the other one. You booked 4 or 5 cars for yourself. One green colored Lamborghini, one orange colored Lamborghini, and whatever dreams you have done. But when you die, everything is lost. And in the next life, you again take birth as a pizza delivery boy next to your own skyscraper. And when you're trying to enter, your own sons are beating you with shoes and throwing you out. Can it happen? Don't you think that this entire endeavor is like investing in a bank which has declared bankruptcy? You know that whatever you invest in it, you are not going to get back. Please look at yourself not just from this life perspective, but from a series of lifetimes perspective. You are not going to get even a single thing which you have invested in. You've gone crazy for doing so many things. You took a loan, you became a slave for the next 30 years to pay that EMI. But the moment the EMI was over, you got a heart attack and you died. This is the reality. So we are running behind those pleasures which are having a beginning and an end, and that too they are temporary. But I as a soul, am I temporary? My body is temporary, but as a soul, I am eternal. Why do we feel sad when the mobile stops functioning? Can somebody logically think and tell me, why do you feel sad when the mobile stops functioning? Because you are eternal. So you want everything around you to be eternal. Why do you feel bad why do you feel embarrassed when you are forced to die? Because dying is not natural for a soul. A soul is eternal. But the soul has artificially accepted this material body to do sense gratification. And when it is being forced to become old, when it is being forced to become sick, when it is being forced to die, one feels embarrassed. Because it's not natural. Krishna never dies, parts and parcels of Krishna never die. But in this material body, the material body keeps dying. And we are forced to change the material body also. So, we have to try to earn that kind of currency which is not getting over after death. And that currency is Krishna consciousness. You earn 50 crore rupees in this life, next life again it's zero. But you make 10% advancement in Krishna consciousness, next life you start from 11%. And Krishna ensures, if you do nice practice of Krishna consciousness, if you do not somehow complete your journey due to worldly mindedness or material consciousness or sense gratificatory desires, let's say you made 15% progress. In next life, you take birth either in a pure Brahminical family, or else you take birth in a highly aristocratic family where there is no anxiety for roti, kapda and makan. And then you start from 16%. What is the loss in this? On the contrary, if you do not practice Krishna consciousness and you only run behind your skyscraper and green colored Lamborghini car for yourself and for your loved ones and the other one, what you will get? Because of the sinful work which we did, we'll become a dog in the next life and we'll be beaten by the same people for whom we built the skyscraper. Please try to understand. If one perfectly performs all their duties but ignores Krishna consciousness, they will ultimately lose everything at the time of death. But if somebody very nicely performs their Krishna consciousness, not only Krishna gives them the intelligence to become very good at what they are, but it is a win-win situation. They go back home, back to Godhead, or else they have a very nice engagement in their next life and they don't lose anything. And they are saved from the most dangerous type of fear. What is that? Degrading into the lower species of life. Do you know that if you do not practice Krishna consciousness, you might as well become a pig in your next life? Because we did pig-like activities. We did not differentiate between mother, sister, and daughter. So we will become a pig in our next life. We ate everything indiscriminately, so we'll become a pig in the next life. This is the greatest danger. Neha bhikramanasthosti pratvayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya. Whatever I say, these are just translations of different Gita shlokas. I'm not presenting my opinion. The Bhagavad-Gita says, Neha bhikramanasthosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Even little advancement made on this path of Krishna consciousness ensures great fortune and great future for you, and nothing is lost. There is no loss or diminution on this path. On the contrary, it saves you from the greatest type of fear, that is degrading into the lower species of life. Even a Prime Minister of India can become a dog in the next life if he is not Krishna conscious. But a Krishna conscious cobbler can continue his Krishna consciousness in the next life in a very respectable way, in a very favorable way. Are you able to appreciate this point? That is what is being discussed here. That we have to focus on Krishna consciousness. There is a verse which I will say later on, that Arjuna, when he went in that situation, Arjuna, a person who has never failed in his entire lifetime, he failed to lift his bow. At that time, he was thinking of the instructions of the Gita. He was thinking of the instructions of the Bhagavad-Gita. And that timeless instruction of the Bhagavad-Gita actually saved him. The Bhagavad-Gita instructions, they tell you what to do and how to deal with the ups and downs of life, how to deal with the miseries in such a way so that you don't suffer. How many of you feel that if you chant Hare Krishna and if you read the Bhagavad Gita, no miseries will come in life? How many of you feel? You're wrong. If you have come with this intention, we can't give you that. But yes, we can promise you that if you chant Hare Krishna and read the Bhagavad Gita, then miseries will come, but you will not suffer because of that. That means your consciousness will be so transcendental, so much above all the problems and the chaos around you, that you will not be affected by it. Now, how many of you want such a consciousness? Please raise your hand. You have to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And when you attain this consciousness, this is the state which you will have. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Na shochati, na kankshati. He never laments for that which is lost. And na kankshati. He never hankers for that which he doesn't have. Do you imagine the kind of freedom you will experience in this kind of consciousness? You have no anxieties on it. Once Srila Prabhupada was asked, you are the teacher of so many disciples, you are the pure devotee of Krishna, you have established 108 temples, you have written 84 books, people, every whole world is following you. How do you feel? Srila Prabhupada answered, I feel fearless. Why? Because he's at that platform. Na shochati, na kankshati. Such people, they are not hankering for getting the happiness of getting respect by others, nor they are afraid of criticism. Na unhe samman ka moh hai, na apman ka bhay. They are the real people. Everybody else is controlled by what people will think. So many activities which we do simply to show our neighbors, right? But this is a different consciousness. He never laments or desires to have anything. He's equally disposed to every living entity. This is also very important. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu. He doesn't say that, oh, you are a black person or a white person, so I will treat you differently. He doesn't say that you are a XYZ from this part of the country or from that part of the country. Oh, you're from that part of the country, I'll not talk to you. He looks everybody at the spiritual platform. He sees everybody as a spirit soul. That is the highest consciousness. We are not a man or a woman. We are not an Indian or an Australian. We are not an engineer or a chartered accountant or a doctor or a lawyer. We are spirit souls. And one who knows or understands how to look everybody at the spiritual platform is a Pandit. Who is a Pandit? Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu. Such person is called as a Pandit. So the goal of life is to become a Pandit. Looking everybody as a spirit soul and acting on that spiritual platform. When I see a dog and when I see a Brahmana, I will see both of them at the spiritual platform. Here is a soul which did nice activities, so therefore he has the body of a Brahmana, practicing nice Brahmanical injunctions mentioned in the 18th chapter, shloka number 42 of the Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, how can I help him? I can engage him in giving some classes on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and I can invite him to my house and serve him. In this way, I will help him and help myself. But here is a dog. He was a very sinful person, lusty fellow in his previous life. So therefore he has become a dog, so sinful that when he sees a tulsi plant, he puts up his leg and urinates on a tulsi plant also. So how can I help this dog? If I call the dog in this Bhagavad Gita class and ask him to sit down, that is no benefit. So the only benefit which I can do to this dog is give him some Krishna prasad. This is called Samaha Sarva Bhuteshu. Looking everybody at the spiritual, always thinking that here is a spirit soul in some kind of a body. How can I help the spirit soul to go back home, back to God, to advance in its journey back home, back to God? This is called Krishna consciousness. This is called the vision of Bhagavad-Gita. And when somebody has this Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nashochati Nakamshati Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu, they become devotees of Krishna. Now do you understand how exalted the devotees of Krishna are? Do you understand? Do you appreciate? How many of you want to be devotees of Krishna? Please raise your hands. Online also. Online I'm not able to interact. It's a big switch. How many of you want to become devotees of Krishna? Please raise your hands. If all 100% are not raising hands, I'll explain this again. And then you'll have to go through it again. Okay. Thank you. So now I will end today's discussion with the practical tip of the day. I think this is not intended. The practical tip of the day is this. Make time for devotion. If we make time for devotion, we can fit in all our things into the place. Actually, I think that video needs to be shown. I have to share the sound. I don't know in the television. It can just take this remote and increase the volume. Is it maximum? Are you able to increase? It's not working.
There's a well-known story about a university professor who wanted to make a point about how we make the most of our time. The professor stood...
There's some problem. We are not able to hear the... Yeah, I've done that. I've shared the audio. Share sound is done. Maybe I have to change the mic. Yes.
Before his class with some items in front of him. When the class began, without speaking, he picked...
Yeah. Let's see if you are able to hear this now.
There's a well-known story about a university professor who wanted to make a point about how we make the most of our time.
So basically, this video says that
with some
the
items
professor
in front
comes
of him.
in and asks
When the class
question,
began, without
how you
speaking, he
can-
picked up a large empty jar
see the
and
video and try
proceeded to
to
fill it
understand.
with rocks about 2 inches in
he
diameter.
puts in some pebbles.
He then asked the students if the jar was full.
Is the jar
They
full?
agreed that it was full.
Everybody says
So the
yes,
professor then
yes,
picked
it's
up a
going to
box
be
of
like
pebbles
that.
and poured them into the jar.
And he puts
He
some
shook the
smaller
jar
pebbles.
lightly and watched as
They
the
go and
pebbles
fit in
rolled into
between the
open
bigger
areas
rocks.
between the rocks. The professor then asked the students again if the jar
Is the
was
jar
full.
full again?
They
He
chuckled
asks.
and
Everybody
agreed
says,
that it
yes,
was
it's full
indeed
now.
full this
And
time.
then he'll take something more
The professor
finer.
picked up a box of
Maybe some
sand,
sand and
and
he'll
poured
put-
it into the jar. The sand
again
filled
it will
the
go and settle
remaining
between
open
the
areas
rocks.
of the jar. Now, said the professor, I want you to recognize that this jar signifies your life. The rocks are the truly important things, such as family, health, and relationships. If all else was lost, and only the rocks remained, your life would still be meaningful. The pebbles are the other things that matter in your life, such as work or school. The sand signifies the remaining small stuff and material possessions.
That's all about this video.
If you were to put sand into the jar first, there is
So
no
you need to
room
know
for
how
the
to
rocks or
prioritize
the
your
pebbles.
time.
The same can
So
be applied
let's try to
to
see the Krishna conscious angle to this. So the most important, we saw that was Neha Vikramana Sostina Pratyavayo na Vidyate. So the most important thing which we have is Krishna consciousness. We need to make time to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We need to make time to read the Bhagavad Gita. We need to make time to come for these Gita course sessions. We need to make time to sit and eat prasadam. These are some very important things of our life. If we feel that, okay, the house which I want to shift is more important, so maybe for the next 2 months, I'll not come for Gita course. Or if I feel that when my job becomes more stable, that time I will start chanting Hare Krishna. Or if I feel that, okay, when this crisis in my life gets over, then I will read the Bhagavad Gita. Then we'll not be able to ever make time for it, and we'll simply lose time. Simply by the rising and the setting of the sun, our lifetime will be destroyed. But we will not make any progress. Square one. The same degree of lust, anger, greed, illusion, and enviousness and attachments will be there as it was earlier. So we have to make time for devotion, and we can fit in all our other things into place. If you can sincerely practice Krishna consciousness, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, Krishna will give intelligence by which you can handle everything and ultimately go back to him also. So primary aspects of the devotion are chanting the names of the Lord, reading the Bhagavad Gita and other prescribed books, and attending these sessions. So basically we have to make devotion our number one priority. Okay, so with that I end today's discussion. If there are any questions or comments, they are welcome. I'll stop the slideshows so that we can have some interactions. Okay, any questions or comments? Those who are online, those who are offline. Any disagreements? So just to summarize, I will quickly say, we saw, summaries always helps us. So we started with the general thoughts we had about time. We saw some people think it's about self-discipline. Some people think it's about, what were the other answers which came online? It's always going in one direction. Time and tide waits for none. We can't get back the time which is lost. And then we saw that we always are always in a rush. And then we concluded that successful people never waste time. And then we saw the various perceptions of time: eternal perception, absolute perception, temporary perception, relative perception. Then we went on to the Bhagavad Gita shloka, where we saw how Krishna is talking about the destructing aspect of time, where he says, Kalosmin, Lokshaya Krit Pravriddho, I have come and I will destroy everything. Kalosmin Ham, I am time. So we understood that Krishna actually loves us. That's why he has made this time element. And he's very systematically destroying everything to which we are attached to, so that we understand that these are false attachments, unnecessary attachments. The real attachment should be to Krishna, should be to God. We are all hankering for a relationship where we want someone to understand us 100% and reciprocate with us 100%. But we have not got that relationship since so many lifetimes. So only scope of understanding that is to understand that I am simply involved in unnecessary things. I'm putting so much endeavor, and ultimately at the time of death, I'm losing everything. If that time I can use in cultivating or re-establishing, rekindling my lost relationship with God, how much happier I will be. So if this destruction aspect of time wouldn't have been there, we would have become happily settled in this material world, thinking this is such a nice place and let me be here for eternity. What is the need to come out of the cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death? Let's every time again enter the womb of another mother and be surrounded by all that pus, urine, and blood and insects, and let's be bitten like that for 9 months, 10 months. Let's again take birth, fall sick. Let's again become old. Let's again die. It's a very nice business. Let's continue it. So therefore, time is there to break our attachment. And then we saw the time has 6 transformations on each body, on each person. A person takes birth, a person stays for some time, grows, reproduces, dwindles, and finally dies. So we have to learn how to see this. And then we saw how insignificant we are. One span of one Kali Yuga and lifetime of Brahma. I hope you are able to recall. And then we saw how in various yugas, various pillars of Dharma are degrading. In Kali Yuga, only the truth or the Satya aspect remains. We saw how time has a different influence. Different times of the day also have different influence on our biology, psychology, sociology, and everything. We are trying to understand time as an energy of the Lord. And then we saw how to effectively utilize our time. First, make a routine. Second, follow the scriptures and perform your work. And third, work in a disinterested, obligatory way with a desire to someday offer your results of your work to Krishna. Right now, I'm a miser. I want to keep 99% of everything for myself. But in future, I want to offer 99% to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. He's Sarvalok Maheshwaram. It is my foolishness to think that this money belongs to me or this house belongs to me. Krishna says, Bhumir apo anulo vayu kham mano buddhir evacha ahankar ityam me bhinna prakriti rashtita. Krishna says, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, everything is my separated material energies. Not in just this, even the soul, you are also my mamai vamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. You are my part and parcel. So everything has to be used in Krishna's service. It is only madness to think that this car is mine, this body is mine, this time is mine, this place is mine. Actually, everything belongs to Krishna. And only a thief will not agree to this. So therefore, we need to learn how to properly utilize time. And time will give us many realizations, just like Arjuna had those realizations. And one who is able to remember the instructions of Bhagavad-Gita, they will come on the Brahma Bhuta platform. Na shochati, na kankshati. No hankering, no lamentation, and seeing everybody at the spiritual platform. And the practical tip of the day is, make time for the most important thing of your life. That is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. That is the essence of today's session. We discussed time as an energy of the Lord. Okay? Any questions or comments? If you have any questions or comments, please raise your hands, online or offline.
Same question I asked, right? The result. If I don't work with the results, I might not do hard work.
Yeah, so see, the question, I'll just for the online people, I'll repeat. The question here is that if I'm not attached to something, I will not feel the ownership. And so therefore, I will not be able to work with a lot of passion for it. See, the whole world is running around with that passionate mentality. The whole world is thinking, this is my house, this is my car, this is my wife, this is my dog, this is my son. And so therefore, I have to do so much for them. I'll tell you the reality. This is not just, this is a universal answer. I'm attached to my body. I'm attached to my family. I'm attached to my car. I'm attached to my house. All my life, I have served them with time, with intelligence, with money, with blood, with semen. But after so many years of so-called selfless service, ultimately one day they will say, what you have done for us? This is the world. This is the reality. So is it not better not to be artificially attached in this way? I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking in general. A man thinks that he is the master of the family. And he demands sense gratification. In the name of food, in the name of emotional comfort, in the name of sex life. And he's thinking, I am the lord of the house, but actually he's the dog of the house. This is the reality. So what is the point of being attached in that way when ultimately the end result is that I have become a dog? I have 5,000 rupees in my wallet, and when I'm walking on the street, a thief steals it. I call him a thief and I beat him. But when I come home, my children and my relatives, they take away my 5,000 rupees. I say, how much they love me, just see. Same theft and dacoity is happening on the road, and same theft and dacoity is happening in the house. But in the house, I feel my wife loves me so much. My son loves me so much. Without asking, he's taking 5,000 rupees. This is called attachment.
So these are all satisfying the senses.
Yes.
What is the ending of senses?
You have to become attached to Krishna. You don't have to try to desire to satisfy your senses. You have to try to desire to satisfy the senses of Krishna. That will only give you satisfaction. There is no other thing which will give you satisfaction.
These are also getting happiness.
Who?
These senses.
Only when we satisfy the senses of Krishna, just like when you feed the stomach, the entire body will feel happy. Similarly, if you satisfy the senses of Krishna, if you try to do something, eat something on your own, it will not give you happiness. You'll simply be wandering from one restaurant to another restaurant. But if you offer one small thing which is made out of love and devotion to Krishna, simply by eating that prasad, you will be fixed up to take a vow that henceforth I will not eat in any restaurant and I will simply eat Krishna prasad. Okay? Does this answer your question? So with that, we'll conclude today's session. Thank you very much for joining, all those who were joining online and all those who are joining physically. We will continue on the next Sunday. But I have a special announcement to make, both for the people online and the people here. So next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we are going to do something very special. This is especially for the older students of the Gita course, and also it will be good news for the new students of the Gita course. We are doing something called as Gita Sar. Here is, we have printed some passes for it. So in 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. here. And for those who cannot come here online, we want everybody to come here. By the way. We will give you an overview of all 18 chapters of the Bhagavad-Gita. Some of the students always said, Prabhuji, we want verse by verse, we want shloka by shloka, we want chapter by chapter. So this is for their happiness. In 3 days, you will understand what is the flow of Bhagavad-Gita, what is the interconnection between all the chapters of Bhagavad-Gita, what is the essence of Bhagavad-Gita, what is the Paribhash Sutra of Bhagavad-Gita, what is the theme of Bhagavad-Gita, everything you will understand. 3 days, Gita Sar, 25th, 26th, 27th of February. Please mark your calendars. 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at this place. And everybody who will come here, we will give you lovely prasadam after the session. Just some incentive. If Gita doesn't motivate you, prasad should motivate you. And how to register? All of you, I have some cards here. You can scan this card and you can register yourself so that we can prepare the logistics properly. And we will request you to take this card with you and do some service to Krishna. Please kick your false ego a little bit by going door to door and requesting people to register for this. They'll slam the door on your face. You'll move one step closer to Krishna. Somebody will register, somebody will not register. We want your help. I have some 100, 200 cards here. I will request you to take at least 10 cards each. First you register yourself, then go to the people who stay near you. You save yourself and then you save others. In this way, your conviction in the process of Krishna consciousness will become very strong. It is said in the scriptures, Bharat bhumite manushya janma hoilo yar, janma sarthak kori koro paropkar. Everybody who has taken birth in this holy land of India, first you make your own life successful by chanting Hare Krishna, by eating Krishna Prasad, by associating with devotees and reading Bhagavad Gita. And after that, don't just sit with that Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma consciousness. Janma sarthak kori koro parupkar. So we request all of you to become preachers of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, one who helps in preaching this message of Bhagavad Gita, nobody is more dear to me than that person. How many of you want to become dear to Krishna? Please raise your hands. So please register yourself. Please register your family members. Please register your colleagues. Please register your apartment mates. Please register your society people. Those who are here physically, you can get a card from me. And those who are online, I will circulate a online digital format of this card with you. And please, let's try to reach out to as many people as possible. For those who were there in the previous session, we declared the February month as the preacher's month. However, how many of you were there? February month as the preacher's month. How many of you heard it? Only one person? You also did not hear? Okay. We declared it, by the way. It's ending now. So February month is the preacher's month. Each one, teach one while being taught by one. That was our slogan. So I am learning and I'm going to teach it to somebody. So the target which we give you, that you come and you bring one more person with you. That is a great service to the Bhagavad Gita. That is a great service to Krishna consciousness. People are hankering for this Krishna consciousness. All it takes is a knock on their door. How many of you will help us in registering as many people as possible? Please raise your hands. Also online, how many of you will really start a campaign on your Instagram and WhatsApp and Facebook and try to register as many people as possible? So this is the Gita Seminar. We call it as Gita Sar, 25th, 26th, 27th of December, physically here at ISKCON Bhakti Center, Kanamangala, or ISKCON Kanamangala. And for those who are online, we have a digital format of this, and you can circulate it as much as possible and bring in as many souls as possible before we celebrate Gaur Purnima, that is in the month of March. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. So now we will move towards Prasadam.